Hello and welcome to Stabler and Friends. I'm your host Stabler, and today I don't have any friends. The reason why, it's kind of an impromptu podcast. I've been wanting to get a podcast done lately. I know, same old song and dance. I always pop up and say I want to do it, and then I do like 2 episodes and I disappear. But I really wanted to do it this time. I really want to. I've been wanting to do it for the last 2 months, but you know where I've been every single day after work? I've been in my driveway, snow blowing and shoveling because it's just gonna snow every day for the rest of our lives here in Utah. But today I just said, you know what? I'm not gonna snow blow. I'm just gonna let the sun melt it maybe someday. But we're doing a podcast today because there is way too much happening in sports right now. Too much. I made a list here, and this is just over the last week. And I thought the hard thing about doing a sports podcast is sports news happens so quickly. And by the time that a news article does happen, it gets beaten to death basically by ESPN, by any sports radio show. That if you don't get on it like right away, nobody wants to listen to it anymore. And everybody's tired of hearing it. But fortunately for me, the last couple days, as far as football has gone, has only gotten more interesting over the last few hours. I'll touch on that in a little bit. And I thought, man, I have a lot to say about Ja Morant, but that was like a week ago that this news broke out. But then 2 days ago or yesterday, he's out doing some more things. So we get to talk about Ja. Let's kick it off with my boy Ja Morant, aka Ja Wick, is his new nickname, or Ja Warrant because he has a warrant out. Um, let's go back to when the article I first heard about was a little before the All-Star break. Ja Morant had a little tussle with some Indiana Pacers players, and while the Pacers were boarding their bus after the game, Morant and his homies rolled up. One of them rolled down the window. There was a laser pointing on somebody as if it was a gun. They looked like they were showing off their guns, and that's where it all started. That's where I first started hearing about Ja Morant. Looking into it a little more, uh, they released another article that last summer he was playing a pickup game against a 17-year-old kid, and apparently Ja checked the ball in, checked it pretty tough, like hard throw in for a check in. The kid checked it back just as hard. It hit Ja in the chin, and he got up in the kid's face, asked his buddy, "Should I do it to him?" And the guy said, "Yeah." And then he punched him about 12 to 13 times. When the authorities showed up, uh, he was talking about pressing charges. Ja said it was self-defense because he had a basketball thrown at his face. I don't know if a basketball on a check-in hitting your face warrants 12 to 13 punches on a 17-year-old child, but I'm not a lawyer. That's not my expertise. Who am I to judge? And then what was it? Saturday night. So just a few nights ago, Jaws at the club, bottle full of bud, and he went on Instagram Live in the strip club and decided to flash his piece. Um, that finally, like as if the first three incidences. Oh, I didn't even tell you about the third incident before this. Apparently his mom got into an altercation at a Finish Line store, and so Ja and his crew rolled up and got in the people's face. Security asked them to leave. They shoved the security guard. Police were called, and they said they were going to figure out what time the security guard got off. So he felt threatened. The cops showed up. They said that there wasn't enough to press charges or whatever, so it went on. So those are the incidents that happened. But now the flashing of the gun, that is what gets him a 2-game suspension. And I'm thinking, where is the NBA in this entire time? Are they aware of it? Are they sweeping it under the rug? Are they hoping that nobody finds out about it? Because this is bad. This is a very bad look. And a lot of these articles came out when like I think it was the day of the Powerade commercials coming out with Ja Morant in it. Sponsorships all over the place. This kid could be a billionaire, but he's trying to do hood rat shit with his friends. And I get that. I get that. So a little background that I found out on Ja Morant is he's like what Eminem made fun of in 8 Mile for the guy that he rap battled. So Ja had two good parents, and his parents had a really good marriage. He went to private school, he did all this. So people start questioning Ja's credibility in the streets down in Memphis or whatever. So he thinks that he needs to get some cred, act a fool, and I mean it's working. I mean, I do have a level of expertise in this. I thought I was hood rat for a while. I thought I was cool. I thought I had street cred. I could rap the entire Blueprint album in high school. I did it so good that I could rap it and I could blur out the N word without even saying it. So I would never get in trouble for that. Like I just thought I fit in. I People in high school probably thought I was cool with it, but the older I get and the more street cred people that I've hung out with, I can't even compare. It's like what Omar said in The Wire. Like everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to actually be a gangster. But Ja is exceeding that. He is going from private school to the hood, and he is going to lose his millions upon billions of potential dollars if he doesn't get it together. Um, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where his head's at, but he's a young kid. He's 23. Like I wasn't doing anything that crazy when I was 23, but I go back and I look at like memories on Facebook from 15 years ago, and I mean, I was saying some stuff I'm pretty embarrassed of today. So to call him what people are calling him right now, like a thug, and he needs to be kicked out of the league. Like, this is his opportunity. This is my opinion. This is his opportunity to decide what he wants to do with his future because he's at a crossroads right now. And he can keep hanging out with his friends and keep doing the dumb hood rat stuff, but I don't know. I think this is a humbling experience for him. He said he's going to take some time to himself. I really hope that is him talking and not just a PR person or the Memphis Grizzlies or something along the lines of that. The NBA, Adam Silver. I don't know who's saying it, but I hope it's Ja. I hope it's internally motivated because that's what you need if you're gonna figure it out. And there's been lots of success stories of people who started off that we weren't a fan of because of the way that they are acting. And I know what he's doing is inexcusable. I'm not trying to excuse any of that. I'm just saying that it's gonna get to a point where he can make it right. And there's going to be people that never forgive him, and I understand that. But I mean, I've seen some people in life that were down on their luck and they've turned it around and they're living their best lives. And this kid, like, he has more opportunities than anybody right now to make it right. But you just gotta, it sucks because he probably loves those guys, he loves hanging out with his friends, but if they're bad influences and they're affecting your future like that much, like, you have got to make a decision. Like, you gotta say, guys, I gotta cut you off. I gotta go find some friends. Hey, maybe he can move to the Utah Jazz where there's no nightlife and he can succeed and have a Hall of Fame career. There's my pitch for you, Ja. Come to the Jazz. We'll change the team name to the Utah Jazz. How about that? I just made that up. That's pretty good. But anyways, I wanted to touch on that because I always liked watching Ja Morant. I think he's a must-watch player when he's on the court, and it really hurts to see all that stuff happen to him. But hopefully he can get it right. Uh, basketball. Let's keep going with basketball. We're gonna switch into football. There's a lot of football to talk about today, so I'm just gonna kind of go through the basketball pretty quick. I'm so happy. I've done so many shows on, I don't know. I sound like a broken record talking about how load management and playoffs in the NBA is killing the game. For me, I think allowing 20 teams into the playoffs, I know it gets narrowed down to the 16 or whatever, but they allow 20 teams into the playoffs. That's 20 out of 30. That's 2/3 of the league to make the playoffs. Like, you don't even have to do anything in those 82 games and you could stumble into the playoffs. So, uh, I hate it. And the biggest thing about that is they know that they can get into the playoffs. So all these veterans like the Warriors, Steph, Clay, Draymond, they'll sit out a game, all of them, and they'll just say it's like just load management. That's like that's their injury is load management. And somebody finally came out. I think it was Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, and he said that it's embarrassing. Like, a lot of us have saved up all year long just to get these tickets to go see some of our favorite superstars, and they just take the night off. Like, they're getting paid to just take the night off because the regular season doesn't matter, and that's unfortunate. So I think the NBA needs to figure something out there, or get less games or less playoff teams that they'll want to be getting out there, and they're going to be wanting to play every single night because it's embarrassing. And hopefully that waves over, because it was the Kawhi, Steph Curry, LeBron, that kind of era that started the load management. And so this is a moment where I want to give my respect to. I've never been a Celtics fan, but Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I think, are hardworking kids. They put in the effort every single game that they can play. I just really respect them. Anthony Edwards saying what he did, and my favorite thing is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't think I said that right. Antetokounmpo. He uh he hit up Kevin Durant, who just went to another super team. He's playing with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix now. So Giannis just said, "Look, man, you don't need to just keep going to these super teams. How about you just come work out with me, and I'll show you how you can do it by yourself." And I just thought that is so great. So Giannis won a championship for Milwaukee, a small market team, and didn't have a great supporting cast. I mean, they're all pretty solid players, but nothing over outstanding, like so Giannis just did it, and now he's a champ. He's a young kid, and he's talking trash to the vet KD, who only has his rings when he was with the Warriors. And we'll go back to what Rihanna said. It's like getting a ring with a super team's like losing your virginity to a hooker. And so Durant still hasn't shaken that. You know that it bothers him because he has a burner account on Twitter, multiple burner accounts that he has to go and defend himself just to feel good about himself. But anyways, yeah, I think that we need to fix load management. I hope that there's more development to this now that people are talking about it on national television, and the players are also talking about it. So we'll see. We'll see if anything happens. I don't think it will, because ultimately the number one thing is revenue, and the more games you play, the more revenue you get. So the more playoff games, the more revenue those cities get. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I got that going on. He had some trades. Kyrie Irving's over with Dallas with Luka Doncic. I don't think they've won too many games since they've been together. The New York Knicks are on fire. I didn't know this, but I think Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson are 1-2 in 30+ point games since January 1st, since the new year. And I've won 9 in a row, 10 in a row, maybe today. But anyways, fun to watch the Knicks getting good again. That's exciting. Now I want to talk about football. I was going to talk about baseball earlier this week. I wanted to talk about the new rules, but I mean, it's not a super pressing issue. We'll have plenty of time to talk about baseball in the next couple weeks. So, given the time, maybe we'll get into it. But football, man, football is crazy. Let's talk about the New York Jets and what their plan is, because everybody's saying the New York Jets are just a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. And they had options like Derek Carr or possibly Aaron Rodgers. We don't know yet. They're still kind of floating the water, seeing who's available, maybe Lamar Jackson if the franchise tag happens, something along the lines of that. But I want to go back to everybody that's saying that the Jets are a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. Do you know how hard it is to win the Super Bowl? And yes, they have a great team. They have a team that could definitely contend for the Super Bowl. But do I think that they can even get there right now if they had Aaron Rodgers? I don't. I really don't. I think that they would be very close, but I mean, you got to get through Josh Allen and the Bills. And if you get through that, you're going against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And if you get through that, you got Patrick Mahomes, and that's just to get to the Super Bowl. And you have to go against Josh Allen twice in the regular season to get to the playoffs. Like, you're probably not winning your division. So now you're fighting for one of those lower playoff seeds. So now you're going to be on the road a lot. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's the right time for them to win. Like, I could see the Derek Carr signing. It wouldn't be too expensive. They can figure it out. It's a signing. They don't lose any draft picks. I was listening to sports radio this morning. I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that if the Packers end up trading Aaron Rodgers to the Jets are going to have to lose multiple first round picks. I don't know how many other compensation picks, but then they're going to be in a salary cap issue where they are going to have to cut somebody. And it sounds like it would probably be CJ Mosley, who's like one of their top 2, 3 defenders on the team. So now you just lost one of your best defenders, all these draft picks for your future, and you got 1, maybe 2 year shot with Rodgers. And so that made you the team that's on the verge of being a Super Bowl contender. But CJ Mosley's like the heart of that team. Like he's a leader. He's tough. Like I don't know how you counteract that with a quarterback who doesn't show up to spring training, or not spring training. I'm still in baseball mode. I'm talking about preseason. Um, and then he complains that his receivers aren't ready because they're young. He makes a lot of things about himself. He doesn't like the media, and he's got to go to New York media if he goes to the Jets. Like it could work out. I don't know. Maybe that ayahuasca has chilled Aaron Rodgers out a little bit, that he can handle the press and handle criticism and things like that. But I don't know. He doesn't have the pattern that shows that he has. So I don't know. I Derek Carr went and signed with the Saints today. I think the Jets dropped the ball on that. Now they're gonna have to give up a lot, and who knows what's gonna happen. I mean, it'll be fun. If I'm a Jets fan and I get Aaron Rodgers, like I'm pumped for the season, right? If I was a Broncos fan last year though, and I got Russell Wilson, I was pumped for that too. But look how that turned out. And we just don't know if Rodgers is going to be able to stay healthy. It's a long season, and that's a lot to put into to one person getting to know a new system. I know that they got the offensive coordinator or whatever, but yeah, hey, I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit and talk about all the other quarterbacks in the NFL. Joe Burrow, everybody's so high on Joe Burrow, and I see it. I see it. He's good. He frustrates me. I've been an Alabama fan my whole life, and he destroyed us when he was with LSU. He looks good in the NFL. But I also think that he has a lot of pieces around him. I think Jamar Chase is unbelievable, that he can make any quarterback look amazing. And on the other side, you have T. Higgins and you got Tyler Boyd, and you just have a lot of weapons. Joe Mixon behind you, like the line has gotten better. So, anyways, they're in great shape, but it's a very small window. Um, Young quarterbacks are going to get paid if they do well. Joe Burrow is getting paid. He might have already got paid. I'll have to follow up on that, but I know that he's about to get paid if he hasn't already, like big, big money. And when that happens, there's a salary cap. You can only spend so much on a team that they're not going to be able to afford T. Higgins. They're not going to be able to afford their defense that's doing well for them. So I'm starting to think that the best strategy in the NFL is just go get a young quarterback, and when your team's ready and you have a good defense and an offense around them, that's when you can go win a Super Bowl. Look at every playoff team in the AFC NFC championship. They were all between the ages, I believe, 22 and 26. Excuse me. Um, so that's the way to go to me. I wouldn't sign a vet unless, like, tried and true, this is your year and there's not enough competition. If you're watching live, you can see my dog. He always comes down to play. Getting a little sidetracked, buddy. Let's do it later, okay? All right, so that is my take on the NFL. Other things, the franchise tag is tomorrow, meaning a franchise tag is if you can't work out a deal and they're on their last year of contract, you can sign them to a 1 year deal the next year. So you sign them to the 1 year deal, and you take, I believe, the average of the top 5 players at that position. So let's say they franchise tag Saquon Barkley. They're going to take the contracts of the top 5 running backs and medium that out, and then that's what he gets for one season, which he's going to get a good paycheck that one season. But they don't like that. They want the long-term deal because they've seen what can happen when you tear your ACL or you blow out an ankle or something along the lines of that. That you don't get paid. You got that 1 year, and that's what you're going to live off the rest of your life because you don't have it. And so the franchise tags are coming tomorrow. A lot of people aren't going to be happy. It sounds like Saquon's still trying to work something out. Even if he does get tagged, it sounds like he's going to work something out with the Giants. On the other side, you have somebody like Lamar Jackson who feels like it's his time to get paid, and the Ravens said, "Well, we'll just tag you and have you play for a year." So now it's going to come down to the bluffing game. Now it's like a poker game, and they got to see who's gonna fold first because either they sign him and they pay him a lot of money, and Lamar's going to just sit out and not play the whole season, and then go sign with a new team next year, or they can tag him tomorrow and trade him and then get a first round pick or something along the lines of that. Maybe it's a first and second or two first rounds or something along the lines of that. But Lamar Jackson could be somewhere else by the by the start of the season. I'd say by at least the start of the draft if there's been no progress with contract negotiations. Um, what else did I have? I had some more football stuff that I want to talk about. Oh, other players that are potentially on the move. Uh, the Titans have been shopping Derrick Henry, which surprises me. Why would you want to get rid of AJ Brown the year before and then get rid of the guy who creates 95% of your offense? But maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe it's a long-term plan. We'll have to see how that works out. But another one is Nick Chubb. The Browns are looking to get some draft picks for Nick Chubb. And again, I think that he's been your MVP on offense besides that offensive line, but he runs hard. He's, in my opinion, the best. Nah, I don't know if I'd say the best running back, but top three running back to me. I think he runs hard. I think he's fast. I think he reads the right holes. Like he does it all. And I don't know what kind of draft compensation they're going to try and get for him, but if I'm a if I my team can get him, I'd say you get him. If you're a contender, you go get him. I sure hope it's not a team like Buffalo that gets either of those running backs because I'm really scared that they're going to be unstoppable at that point with the running game because their whole running game the last couple of years has just been Josh Allen. Basically, he's been their leading rusher every year for like the last 2 or 3 years. All right, let's wrap this up. Quick little podcast for the day. Um, Reminder, we got some March Madness coming up next week, so I'll make sure I talk about that. And another reminder that I am always hosting a March Madness bracket tournament. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. You can follow me at the Real Stabler on Twitter, or you can just be my friend on Facebook if you're local and you know me. I'm not going to give out my last name, but if you can find Stabler and add him, that's cool too. Uh, March Madness, we do $10 entry. Winner gets 60%, second place gets 30%, third place gets 10%. So, next up, oh, I forgot to talk about something in football that just came up about an hour ago. Somebody reported that Tom Brady isn't really done, whatever done is. But it sounds like he wants to come back. Hi, buddy. It sounds like he wants to come back, and he wants to come back to the Miami Dolphins. What do you think about that? Are you a Dolphins fan? Oh, okay. Me too. How about you hang out? Sorry if you're just listening to the audio. I got my dog here, and he just wants to play. This is Rocket for everybody that can see him. But yeah, Tom Brady back to the Dolphins is a rumor, and I don't know how I feel about that. I love the Dolphins. I love Tua. I don't know what his future is going to be like, but I hope that he can stay healthy and we can have an opportunity to see what he can do as a healthy quarterback. Um, all right, last thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to probably reiterate this more into detail the next podcast that we have. We're just going to do this really quick. Baseball has changed its rules. You say baseball is slow and boring. I think it is very fast paced and it is essentially a game of chess with athleticism. If you ever want to learn the game, please reach out to me. I'd love to watch a few games with somebody and teach them what's going on instead of just a swing and a strike or a home run or running around the bases. There is so much more going on. And this is the ultimate year to get into baseball because they've changed a few rules. They've added, like a shot clock in basketball. Well, now they have a pitch count in baseball where they have to pitch the ball within 15 seconds from when the pitch is called a strike. So comes in, strike, 15-second clock starts, and they have to pitch within that time. It has reduced games down from an average of about 3 hours to about 2 hours and 20 minutes to 2 hours and 30 minutes. So it's about a 30 to 40-minute difference in the game. That is enough, sir. We're trying to podcast. And all you care about is your little hedgehog. All right. I think I'm gonna have to wrap this up because he's the king of the house and he knows it. But anyways, baseball is gonna be great this year. Please check it out. And if you want to watch some games, you let me know. Uh, we'll be back soon. I'm gonna get some more friends. I'm starting to fill out a schedule of like times that would be good to have a certain friend hop on the show. So if you're listening and you're a friend of the podcast, please let me know if you'd be interested in hopping on because we can find some time for you. Obviously, I haven't had friends on for like the last 3 podcasts. So, anyways, thank you guys again for listening. This has been Stabler and Friends, and it's been me and my friend Little Rocket here. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I should be back later this week. We'll talk a little March Madness, a little more spring training baseball. And hey, whatever happens with football, we'll have to follow up on that. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you later.